Hey, everybody. I'm just setting up. We'll get ready to rock and roll in 1 second here. Let's give you the cool opening, and then we'll get to it. And there we go. Let's get fancy. Let's put some tunes on. Oh, yeah. You know what time it is. All right. Let me get coffee, and we'll start. Let me just go grab my coffee and I'll be ready to go. Hey guys, so sorry for the late start. The amount of information that's going on right now is insane. And trying to process it, it's just been absolutely absolutely crazy. So I can hear that echo. Hold on. So let's get to the basics first. Meta was a dumpster fire. Microsoft was okay. Google was a monster. So absolute monster. I mean, like, it's really that simple right now. So I think that's the first way that that's the very first way that I would look at it. And I really think that at the end of the day, and this is just my opinion, you're going to see a lot of volatility this morning and a lot of headlines, and you might get some sell the news events. But overall, I think that if you look at the earnings, you're getting clear winners and losers, and you're going to have more tonight as well. So I think that's super important for us to focus on, and who those winners and losers are going to be. I'm going to take give me a second here. A lot of questions today. And what I really want to do is figure out, you can always restore individual tabs. What do they want me to do? Would you like to optimize your point? No, I want you to go away. I hate when they try to optimize me at like 9 o'clock in the morning. It's exhausting. I don't want to be optimized. So optimized, God's sake. And that's the thing about AI. Everyone's trying to figure out how they can do more with it. The drop here is just going to be data that no one really even knows what the hell's going on anymore because we don't have data. I think in regards to Powell, I think he got a really bad shake yesterday. Let's do it. Pull this up. I think in regards to Powell, he got a really bad shake yesterday, and I'm not a huge fan of his at all. I don't know how they want him to continually say that he's going to cut rates when he's got no data. Like, it's just stupid. It doesn't make any sense. And I think that's a real, it's a real issue. Let me make sure the audio didn't jump. No, it didn't. Cool. I think it's a real problem. And I don't think people are truly getting that. Like, he needs to see, and you can see the bar right there. Always watch that bar. As we refer to it, the good afternoon bar. I don't know how the guy's not scarred, every time he says good afternoon, the market plummets. So, it is what it is. But from my perspective, looking at this, it's definitely up there. It's definitely an issue. So what do I think here? I think that you want to watch that range more than anything if you're an ES trader today. And the reason for that is because this is where we got good afternoon. And then if you come into it, you can always see how we end that day in those areas. And they become our battlegrounds. And so for me, watching that area is just clutch. Now, after you get through that, you can obviously come back and say, well, here's Sunday. And do you come through that again and retest that area? And if you do retest that, you're coming down to here. And I think that that's also something that you'd have to kind of look at and say, okay, well, that's also a possibility. And it is a possibility. I personally think the majority of the market is looking for a reason to kind of, sell down a little bit here. And I really think that they might jerk retail around today, for lack of a better term. I guess I could come up with a better term, but that's the one you got this morning. So there it is. Can't unsee that, I guess. But I'd watch that Sunday level as well. And I think it's just worth mentioning, like, that's everything. So if you had to look at your range, that's your range. But really, I think that these are your big levels. And if I was to look at this and say, all right, well, what else would I focus on? Well, a couple things here. From a short-term standpoint, you might kind of just want to drop a VWAP there and just see where all the players are. And if you respected those areas, and you have, and then just start looking at these drops as well and saying how are we acting and where would they take us to. And so I think that so far, that's telling you like where you might come in at, but that's really giving you the same level. So there's no real reason for that. And by the time that got there, you're really at the same level. It's right there. So there's no sense in really having that up there. But you could come back to Sunday maybe if this got ugly. And I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. But if they wanted to knock retail around a little bit, that's how I would do it. That's how I would knock retail around. I'd gap fill us. I'd gap fill us and panic, and is it going to be the sell the news event because of this? I don't think it is, but you never know. Both sides, if you already listened to the talk this morning, both sides already, let's clean it off and start over, already are very like bro hugging. Like they're very like, oh no, you're the best leader. No, you're the best leader. Like it's very clear that this has all been hashed out ahead of time to make the other side look like the supreme leader to their people. I mean, it's like, it's such theater. It's crazy. So, let's see how it goes. But, I would prefer, I don't think any of it needs to be on TV, quite frankly. Just hammer the damn thing out, move on. And again, I think you have to look at the same bar, and that's exactly what I would focus on. And you're already seeing the battleground at that bar, at that, the good afternoon price. You can see it right there. I mean, that's him to a nutshell. So if you break that, where do you go? Yeah, you could come down to these levels, but it's really going to be the same price point. So why focus on anything else except what you already have to focus on until you have to focus on the next thing? You know what I mean? So sometimes we worry about crap and just stare at what's right in front of you. I mean, what's the range on just that bar to the high? I mean, what did we get out of that? 1.3%. You could stay there all day today. You could stay there all day today. The question really becomes what happens tonight, because a lot of people are selling, NVIDIA down because he said, oh, no Galaxy. No, it's not Galaxy. That's not the new one. It's not Blackwell. What's the one after Blackwell? I forget the new chip after Blackwell, but he said no Blackwell, and then whatever the new one is after Blackwell that they're going to come out with. It's not Galaxy. It's something else. It'll come to me. Anyway, that's how I see it. If we go take a look at the Qs, I think the Qs did an excellent job, quite frankly, the way the market's holding. Like I don't really see a big issue here. You really look at like how these levels are all set. They're set up perfectly. Like you're not really breaking anything. This actually jumped and needs to be adjusted, but you actually jumped up pretty considerably. I don't know why that didn't hold yesterday when we did that. We did that live. Maybe I didn't click save. So 650 is really where that call wall is. And then the put wall on this is still down here. So, and it actually looks like you're still at that 600 level. I just don't see it, man. I mean, you're in such a big range. If you go and take a look at where'd the gamma go to, 630, Jesus. So you really jumped up. So, I mean, they want to go higher. I mean, this is all telling you that you're pushing to go higher. So if you break 630, you have an issue. Like that you'll have, as long as the gamma is positive, like if you think about the gray box like that, you're okay. Like on the long side. Do I have to worry about these kind of wicks up here? I don't know. I mean, so far you have the undercut this morning, but I really think it's for political theater. I have a hard time believing the market drops today with everything out there, but weirder things have happened. I don't think we're getting the 650 today, guys. So I don't really think I need that in my chart. I mean, I would try to focus. I'd try to hyper focus on what you really need to pay attention to, which is that on the Qs, and then kind of go from there. Maybe semis come in on this. Maybe. Maybe. You are seeing Meta break that 680. That's not great for Meta, like at all, like not even a little bit. So we'll get to that. And let's just do the SPY and make sure that these levels haven't really moved for us and where they're at. Yeah. So you're really at the same, oh, you jumped. Like these walls are moving. You're up here. They're definitely a little more concerned than they've been on the long side. You're definitely setting up a wider, like a wider berth for sure on this 670. Yeah, you're definitely setting up a wider berth. So they're expecting a lot of volatility, clearly. Yeah, that's crazy. Not that this moved up to there, but I mean, it's definitely not tight. I'll tell you that, which is good because it does give you a lot of room to maneuver. But for me, it really boils down to the question of, how bad does this get, or how good does this get? You have the volatility there. If we look at NVIDIA, I would expect this to be all over the place, like all over the place. And I think a lot of it's going to be like, oh, you're not going to be able to sell Blackwell chips there. Who knows? Who knows what they're going to be able to do or not do. And I wouldn't go on anything that they say. I would look at what they do and kind of go from there. So that's the very first thing that comes to mind. You have some earnings we can go over, but I'd rather answer questions. So give me 1 sec here while we're doing this. And I want to start answering questions because I think you guys are going to hit all the earnings anyway. And I'll pull the earnings up over here and we'll open up Wednesday PM and Thursday AM. And then if we need to, we have Thursday, we could do Thursday PM if you guys have questions about tonight. And then we can kind of go through all of this. But I think that's better so that I'm hammering the ones home that you guys really want to go over. But yeah, they're going to definitely take NVIDIA down on this. And I bought this Galaxy for the secondary. Now I'm sitting there looking at this, and that's where Galaxy must have came from. And all it's doing is dropping like every single day. I guess they can't find a pricing for that secondary. And that's the only thing I can think about. But they upsized it, which makes 0 sense. They must have priced it in the hole. It's the only thing I can think about. They must have really priced that in the hole because all it's doing is dropping, like since the pricing. So maybe they priced it in the hole and then they're selling stock against it. That must be it. I'll see if I can find out about it. I like the name, but if you're going to keep dropping like a stone every single day. What else do you have? Now Galaxy Digital joined forces with Coinbase. So you don't even have anything there. That's interesting. I don't know why. Maybe it's just super thin. I don't know. But it's every single day. Anyway, all right, so I could take some questions here and get to it. What's up, John? Well, I actually think he's in a tough spot. I mean, the biggest thing about yesterday was that this is going to stop. So they'll stop with the balance sheet. The balance sheet's going to stop dropping. And so that in and of itself, if you're not selling things, like they're going to, when they have these mortgage-backed securities, they're not selling them. They're going to let them expire. And then instead of reducing the balance sheet, what they're going to do is they're going to buy treasuries. So I really think that when you think about it from that perspective, like they're going to buy treasuries, you have to understand what they're really saying. They're saying that you're going to level off on the balance sheet and that they're putting a floor and a ceiling really on the treasury market by what they're doing. And I think that's pretty darn big. And I don't think people are getting that just yet. They're going to, but I don't think people are getting all of that just yet. So I definitely think there's something, to that people need to pay attention to. See something here. What else I have that I want to go over? Yeah, you'll open up probably pretty big because you have the puts there. So we'll have to look at that later and see what it does. A lot of what I put on lately, I'm buying hedges against just because I think you have big outsized risk for an event. So, and I'm sticking with the larger cap names. That seems to be working exceptionally well right now. I think Apple and Amazon are going to be fascinating tonight. But I think he's got a tough job to do. I'm not a huge fan of his, but I don't envy him at all. I think that this could be way better than people think it can. So you really have not had that kind of, I mean, obviously it's just been an absolute monster as it chugs along, right? I mean, anybody can see this thing, but for me, what's so fascinating about it, even from this standpoint, is, not only where you're at, but I think what's so interesting, again, to me about it, is you're going through a product cycle here. And that whole product cycle, they're getting really, really excited about. And people are getting that product cycle. For whatever reason, people are saying it's been so long for a phone upgrade that's why they're doing it. But nevertheless, they're doing it. So, you look at this on a weekly, and it's just been an absolute unequivocal monster trade from that last earnings. And into this one, they're going into this cycle. And I think that the quarter is going to be really good. So that's what I think. I don't know. So I think that's a big one tonight. And I also think Amazon could be a dark horse because of some things they're doing there. But, I think that the meta is going to scare the heck out of people. And meta can get ugly. Ugly. So once you broke that 680 put wall, and there's a reason for them to get ugly. There's a reason for Meta to get really, really ugly. I mean, he spent, a lot of money. He's saying he's spending more. He talks about this outsized demand, and yet you're missing revenues. It doesn't make any sense. So they're definitely going to have a problem there. So that's how I see it. But the Apple, yeah, man, I like that a lot. Cat's a beast. I do think the biggest winners from last night, the Caterpillar, it's got to set up again. There's a bunch of stuff like that I'm really hoping sets up, it gives me some time today, and I can finally get some time looking at some of these other names. I want some of this stuff to come in from earnings. And so far, it's just, man, after not only the earnings, but all the Argentina stuff just exploded. And I'm trying to get back into it, but man, it's something. Anyway, let's get back to this, because that ties it all together. What I think is so fascinating about this, and SanDisk being down or any of those names, your biggest winners from last night, in my opinion, were SanDisk, Micron. These were your big winners. Western Digital, they have earnings tonight. You have STX that crushed, forming a flag sitting there. So, I mean, these were your really big winners. So yeah, that's really how I say it. Is there anything else that's super interesting about that? No, that covers it. That covers the Capex side of this for sure. I really think that they're your big winners. People say, well, what about Dell? And yeah, I mean, that makes a ton of sense too. It makes a ton of sense. If you really look at Dell, since it went public again, it's kind of crazy. And it didn't really get a lot of love, but man, oh man. So it's just absolutely crazy what it's done. But I do think there's some things there with, I do think there's some things on the Capex side that people aren't getting, John. I do think that. And I think SNDX makes a ton of sense. Let them smoke them. Meta's not stopping what they're doing because they're losing money. Meta doesn't care. As I said last night, the guy changed the name of the company and wanted us all to walk around like giraffes. You think he cares that an analyst, doesn't like that he's spending money? You think he cares about shareholders? Only he could care less. He needs them. That's it. Lumen's has been a monster. Lumen's been a monster. So I actually think that probably continues. If you look at the volume, a bunch of guys have been in this thing forever, and they're killing it. If you look at it, they're just absolutely slaying it. So I think Lumen's just going to be an absolute absolute monster trade for people. I really do think that. So I don't know the earnings. I haven't got, I don't know anything about the earnings or anything like that. I know nothing about it. But it's, 7 to 11. I mean, you're trading like you're going to be a monster tonight, across the board. Let's just go there and go coin. What do you got? I don't know. We had a trade on it. Pardon me. We had a trade on it. It seems like the longer I sleep, the more tired I am in the morning. It's weird. I don't know, man. I'm wondering, like, I see another trade out there too that I really like. And I haven't pulled the trigger on it because I'm wondering if we're seeing this liquid gold thing start to play out where it seems like, gold's in a lot of trouble, right? Like gold's going to go a lot lower, like a lot lower. And so all because of the dollar stabilization. And you see how the dollar is lifting right in here, right? So as the dollar gets stronger, US gets stronger, they're selling gold, they're selling silver, and they're buying the dollar. And then if they buy the dollar, they're going to buy the US stock market, right? It just like trickles down. They're going to dump gold. They're going to dump silver. They're going to dump platinum, which means they're going to dump Bitcoin, right? And as they do this, I mean, if you really chart this, like if you really took the time to do it, and you go, okay, well, here's Bitcoin. Or here's gold. I mean, it's not really rocket science. It's not really too crazy to see how that's playing out, right? So, I mean, if you went and did it this way, and I go GC, and I go into gold futures and go gold futures 1, you'll actually see it a little even clearer. So I don't know, man. There's definitely something to it. And I don't know that you want to buy coin because of that. And it's kind of got me second guessing, do I want to buy MSTR? Because I'm really looking at this MSTR chart and I'm really excited about it. I really like it here. And then at the same time, the reason I'm not pulling it is because I think that you could have problems because Bitcoin comes in as it's part of that trade. So that's definitely there, and I think it's an issue. And this all looks good. All right, let's go. Keep going. Good questions this morning. Knee, I would avoid. I tried knee. It didn't work. I made more on my hedge than I made on the damn stock. That's nasty. That's like Janet Jackson nasty. I wouldn't go near that. So, what are they throwing pies at each other in this meeting? What are they doing in the video? Look what you did to my boy. Thank God about puts. The counter trade makes sense, doesn't it? Right? The counter trade kind of makes sense. I don't know, bro. I thought that was going to rip faces off. I was like all pumped. I was doing my best Chris Farley. This is going to be awesome. Then I got that. So it was not awesome. I've seen awesome before. It doesn't look like that. Hit the like button and make sure you subscribe because I do put stuff on the community tab and you won't see it unless you're subscribed. Community tab stuff, if you're not subscribed, it's like you have a 10% chance. If you're subscribed, you have an 85 to 90% chance. I think you have to seriously look at the market and saying who's winning and who's losing earnings. And I think that that's the best bet you could possibly make right now. That's where my head is when I look at the market. Like when I really look at the market, it's like, I think the market's going higher. I think the breadth is gross when you look at the breadth of the market. I got asked to touch base on this. I got a couple questions this morning on this. Let me see if I can find it. I don't really even think that you care about the advanced decline. I know like people like go, oh, we have to go and look at like, here's the New York Stock Exchange, right? And then people want to say, oh, let's go look at the ADL. Right, ADL. All right. So then you go, all right, let's go look at the ADL. And then people are like, well, you know, the market's hitting highs and the ADL's doing this. And I'm like, okay, well, the ADL's still kind of hitting highs, right? If you look at the ADL. So what's the ADL really doing? It's kind of in line, really, right? Where I think the real trouble's coming in is here. If I go S5FI, and I'll always try to answer your questions. But you see this little suck salad right here? Like the 50 days and how we broke 50 and now you're at 40, right? So I think that's where the issue is. It's 8:55. Thank you, John. I think that's where the real suck salad is. NDFI. If we go look at NDFI, you know, you have 100 names here. Well, on Tuesday, or let's take Wednesday, right? On Wednesday, it opened at 68, and now you're at 57. Well, the NASDAQ 100 has 100 names in it. That means 10% of the NASDAQ between Wednesday and Thursday broke their 50-day moving average. 10% of the NASDAQ 100, right? Because you lost 10 names. So it's not really, but you get it. So if you lost 10 names between that time, it's 10%. It's a problem. It's not a blessing. It's a problem. So I think if you think about it from that standpoint, you need to be really very cautious on what you're doing here. And I tend to look at the market and I think my indicator is better than the ADL. And I don't really care how people feel about that or not. My mom told me I was special and I believed her. So if I go here and I look at the S5 and the NDFI, right? Remember when we do this? Just to take a snapshot of the market, and then we just drop this to those levels where we tend to see, you know, where the market will start coming in hard, where that imbalance starts to happen, where the NASDAQ starts to drop faster than the S&P, and the S&P kicks in because it's defensive. This is where we said we formed a bottom. It's pretty darn spot on, right? So we're back to this level where we usually have a problem. And I think that this is more important than just looking at the ADL because it's showing you more internally what's going on. And this is just what I use, but you know, you should use what you're comfortable with. Like when you start to see coming to these levels, it marks a peak. I'm going to go over it more on Saturday, and it marks a bottom. And we're back down to this stuff now. And here, obviously, you had October 23 and you had a massive change. But I think it's worth mentioning, and I think it's worth our time. So I think you need to be super careful. I do not think you want to be out here bottom fishing. I mean, did Novogratz murder somebody? Like, I don't understand. Like, what in God's name is happening with this thing? Is it just because Bitcoin's getting smoked? Is that why I'm bleeding through every orifice on this? I mean, good Lord. Like, it's getting old. All right. So I think it's important to go through that. What's up, Aaron? Western Digital, I mean, personally, I don't know how they don't have a good quarter. Like, if you really look at this, I don't truly know how they don't have a good quarter. So that's definitely on my radar. All those names are on my radar today, like all of them. I'm just wondering if you get to like some kind of event today at this meeting. And it's really starting to shape up that way, isn't it? Like, to me, it's really starting to shape up that way. So You see it? Like, does everybody know this and it bounces anyway? It's becoming a thing. What the hell's going on here? Excuse my language. Oh, you're in trouble. That's why. Yeah, I wouldn't be buying coin, dude. I wouldn't be buying coin. I wouldn't be buying MSTR. I'd wait until you get some kind of bounce. Let's go take a look at Bitcoin for a second, because this could be a problem for us today. No, you're going to get ugly. Ugly, ugly. Say it. You broke. So you should get a retest of this. That's why this thing's tearing me apart. Give me a second. One second, guys. Please. Let's go take a look at this real quick. Did they move the put wall? No, we went through the damn thing. You better hold 275. Yeah, that really needs to hold here. That could be a real problem for us today. That needs to hold. I don't know, man. I don't know what coin does for earnings tonight, but I can tell you right now, the Bitcoin trade may be a problem because of what they're doing with gold. I would be careful with that, personally. I think the Western Digital makes so much sense, but I would focus on those names. I'm not overly surprised by this. I've been shorting it for some time. I'm not catching a big move. Like, I caught some of the moves, but I'm not making a ton on my shorts with this. And I didn't short it overnight. I had too much on last night. I wanted to stay focused. I'll be the same way tonight. I would really watch this here, because you really need to bounce. And if this Bitcoin breaks, you can drop like 5 or 6, like fast. So hold on. Yeah, I really think you could. So that's pretty nasty. What happened to the RSI when this happened and you hit the higher high? See the higher high right there? No, you're in line. Up, higher high, RSI was over. Looks like you might have a flush, and then that's it. So you probably really want to buy the flush, not sell the flush. Yeah. All right. So it's not, maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. If it breaks here, you got a shot at that. If you watch this bar, boop, see it? So you don't really want to break, and you kind of did. So you need to get back in there. What time is it? 9:04. Give me a second here, guys. Thank you, John. I see the time. I'm going to try and get to some more of these questions. I think you're more on the other side of this. I think you want to be on the other side of this. I think you want to be a net buyer on the flush. I also think Amazon's going to be super interesting tonight. I'm not going to go live again tonight. I can't do that tonight, but I can talk about it. I really like the Western Digital, dude. I like that whole trade. Went through them. That Lumen, you guys are killing it. Absolutely slaughtering it, dude. I think Dan's been in that thing since like 3 or 4 bucks. I'm wondering if, like, to be on the other side of that's starting to make sense. That's really where my head is right now. I'm wondering if that makes sense to be on the other side of that right now. Like, all the niceties are out of the way. We like you. You're the best. No, you're the best. All that crap. Because this is the event. And now it's here, right? So, and then they come in there and they talk nice to one another, and then, maybe not so nice. But like the MSTR, I'm wondering if they're taking that trade off. I gotta redraw my levels on this later. Lulu's a pig, dude. Absolute pig. And we'll partner with the NFL. Like, what? Go make yoga pants. Stop trying to make $100 t-shirts for dudes. I mean, you can't blame them, Tim. You know what I mean? Covered. We did cover it. What's up, Jacob? Coming from Miami. Man, I haven't heard that name in so long. We used to trade this back in the day. Dude, this company's so old. How old is it? This used to be the cat's pajamas. You guys don't even know. You don't have a clue. They still say that, right? Cat's pajamas. I tell my son I'm hip. He doesn't believe me. It's like, whatever, boomer. Drink your prune juice. I don't know. It looks like you're rejecting. Doesn't it? Looks like a rejection. We need more power. You want to do that now, though? I don't know. I don't want to do that ahead of earnings. I tried that with NE earlier. I just gotta let it sit for now. The one that I think looks the best. I mean, they are just trashing me here. I'm still in this thing. You respected the 55. I don't know that I have any edge in doing it here. I think I had edge the up, under, over. Like, I think I had edge on the trade right here. Right? Like, I was thinking from that standpoint versus here. Here I've got nothing. So at this point, I'm looking at it and going, all right, please come back down and retest the 55, right? Put a little alert there, ding, ding. And maybe I'll get involved before then. If not, I'm going to try to figure out how to be in it for earnings, because this should be a really good earnings. All the girls went in their special pants before Christmas. all the guys going to the store to watch the girls buy their special pants. You know, you kind of failed. So I don't know that I'd be going crazy here. People love playing these secondary moves. You got to watch the secondary moves, man. You got to make sure that your name is the one that bounces through the secondary move, you know? So you're down, you got to bounce through those secondary moves. When you don't bounce through those secondary moves, it means that you're just not in demand. So the great thing about pullbacks is they get to show you like what's in demand. And I think what you're seeing the majority of, like if I could tell you how I see it, I think the majority of it is what they're telling us is that they want tech, but they want to be defensive and they want the right tech. But that's how I see it right now. But what do I know? I mean, can you go up? I've never seen a company do so well and just get smoked. Like what are you doing? Like they crushed it. I can already tell that this is going to exhaust me today. RBLX was pretty bad. And the only thing I would say about RBLX, I'm going to have to jump here, guys. The only thing I would say about RBLX and CVNA is everyone and their sister is short these things. I mean, RBLX was actually investigated or is being investigated for like some pretty rough stuff. And it's being blown off like, it's okay. It's not a big deal. Like, it's a pretty darn big deal. I think too many people are short the same names. And I think that's what's happening in that space. I'm not going to have time to get through all this. What's up, Lynn? What's up, D? I don't know you're going to hold that, brother. These are, what do you call it? They're, what are they? Roca blue light glasses. I've the night ones too. I pretty much fall asleep with the night ones on. They've made a huge difference. Good morning from Cartagena. Good morning from Miami. What's up, Tariq? I don't know. I didn't look at Merck yet. I mean, long-term, it's great. I'm not really going to go there. I'm leaning that thing bounces off the open. I don't know that I do calls because the IV crush. I'm probably really interested in selling puts. When you get a value guy in there that's done the work, you need a value guy that's going to go in there and straighten out the company. When you get Elliott Management stepping in there, that's when I do it. Like when Elliott Management says, okay, we're going to fix the burrito problem. Like when you get an Elliott Management kind of company to do that, when you get someone like Singer going in there, you know, Ackman's like, we've had enough. I think Ackman still has a position in it, right? So when we get that kind of stuff, then I think you want to do it. That's when I think you want to do it. Until then, man, you don't know. You know, we think, you know, with these names, I get it. I was looking at it last night. I kept wanting to short it, and I'm like, I can't short this. It's just in free fall. You know, now I'm at 32. So what do I think? I think you want to watch it. I mean, one interesting way to play it would be like a really super interesting way to look at this might be to go, like I was thinking about this today, like how do I make money off of this, right? So one thing I was thinking about, I don't know if you do this. What's your name? Where'd you go? Schmitterator? All right. So like the thing I was looking at, dude, was this. I was going, all right. So we're at $30. And where does this thing really go, right? So then if I look at it to the end of the year, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. And then I got to jump, guys. I definitely got to jump. I got too much on. I'd say by the end of the year or even by January, because you probably want to go out to January because January, they're going to tax sell it until January, right? Because they're going to take the tax. Because you have to think about tax selling positioning going into December. Right, you're going to sell your losers and hold your winners, and then the first 5 days of January they reverse that. So then you go, all right. So yeah, that's probably why you have so many 25s and 30 puts out there. But if you went out there and said, I think that this is going to happen and now we're down. I'm wondering like if the 30s are like $10 or $8 or something like that on CMG, right? Like, do you go out there and like sell the 30s for January, like sell the 30 puts, right? And then if it does nothing, you take that in over time. And then if it goes up, you take in the $8. And if you get filled, you have $22 or $21 stock. So I'd watch how those puts out to January open today, because the way that I'm looking at this, it's like, it seems kind of insane to me that you could just buy this thing. And if those puts really explode in the January, they might make a lot of sense. Because I agree with you. What I probably don't want to do is be in it for another quarter. But I think that you're going to have pressure until December. All right, I got to jump, guys. Trade to win today. Oh, sorry, buddy. You put money out there. How would I play rare earth? Sorry, man. Thank you. I'll make sure it goes to St. Jude's. How would I play them? I don't know that I'd be looking at the secondary names. I don't know that I would do that. What I probably would do is I'd sort this way. I'd probably go through them and say, I wouldn't look at pre and post. I'd probably go through them this way and go, all right, there's the RSI, right? And then what I would do is I'd go here and I'd probably do this. I'd probably go MACD, histogram. There we go. Yay. You give me this weird freaking thing. Can I just have it? You figure I'd learn how to use this damn thing. So, and then what I would do is I'd go to the MACD histogram, the real one, not the funky one. And I would look at this and start going through the 4 hours and the hourlies and seeing which ones have bottomed, right? And then I would start looking at those. Like they all look like they've bottomed already, don't they? So that would tell me that they're already turning. And then I'd probably start flipping through the 4 hours and going, all right, well, which one of these on the 4 hours is the most oversold? Okay. Okay. So probably USAR out of those, right? That could probably bounce the most just by looking at it. So I'd probably sort them that way. I'm leaning towards playing MP and then just using the low because I don't know that you're going to break that low. What else do we have going on here? All right, cool. And looking at that low, that's how I would do it. But I'm wondering if that's it. I'm wondering if like we sold down because we're going to have world peace, and we all know that we're not going to have world peace. So that's how I would sort them. Let me just go through this quick. See what else. Gold's going a lot lower, bro. Deal with it. A lot lower. If the dollar rallies, gold's going lower, bro. Just go look at a chart here. I'm going to save you a ton of heartache in 2 seconds. There's the dollar. Come on. Come on. Not going to work now? You got to be kidding me. All this. There you go. That a boy. And are you going to show up or... Oh, there we go. Finally. So see it? Like you can't miss it, man. You cannot miss what happened. So the minute that you start bottoming out on the dollar, gold goes lower. It's just the way it is. Just deal with it. Don't fight it, dude. You don't have enough money to fight it. None of us do. Oh, you're welcome, Jason. It was a lot of fun. It made sense to do that. Bum, 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 bum. I wouldn't do the calls today, dude, because I worry about the IV crush. That's where my head is. What's up, buddy? I don't really play with bank reserves. Like, it's not my wheelhouse. They're just Roca Bluetooth. Not Bluetooth. Blue light glasses. I got to go, guys. I got a ton going on. I can't even think straight. I'm just interested. Anything else I got to go over with you? Nope. All right. All right. Trade to win. Make good choices.